are watching the live coffee talk. I'm Michelle Quay. Those of you who are new to me, welcome to the group. So excited to be here. This is a live stream shows and podcast where I bring amazing guest speakers to come and join me on the show so that they can share their inspirational stories about how they overcome their adversity, business, as well as mindset. So today I'm super excited because those of you who are football fans, woohoo, hot, let's go. So today I am so excited because I have Shawn Harper, who is a 7-year former NFL lineman who played with Rams, the Oilers, the Colts, the NFL, European, and now owns and operates an American service and multi-million-dollar security service from the headquarters of Columbus, Ohio. His journey from the grit and grim of the NFL locker room to the corporate culture of the boardroom provides both the world's ways to win. And author Shawn is actually an author of the book, The Winning Edge. So I'm really interested to hear more about his book. So without further ado, that's bring Shawn. Shawn, hey. My man, you're on.
How you doing? What's going on? Hey, thank you for having me. This is really cool. And yes, I am slightly envious, or you could say jealous of the fact that you're living in Southern California right now. And I'm stuck here in Columbus, Ohio. Not that it's bad in Ohio, but it's just amazing in Southern California. So, but anyway, let's have fun, let's win. And I just hope and pray that whatever I say will be a blessing to help change the trajectory of people's lives, belief systems, and their self-concept, most importantly.
Yeah. Well, so I love how you said, all the words of wisdom to help someone win. And your book is titled The Winning Edge. So I'm really interested to hear, what is your story? How did you, what was it like to grow up as a child? And I remember reading your bio, there was a bit of obstacles that you had to overcome as a child.
Yes. And so, wow. I was laced with a lot of adversity from a very young age. One of 6 kids, documented with 4 to 5 learning disabilities by the time I was in the 5th grade. I had to repeat the 1st grade. In fact, I remember standing in the 2nd grade line and the teacher walking up, grabbing my hand and pulling me back into the 1st grade line. And the students yelled, they laughed, they screamed. Because back then, it was just like, you know what? It was just a free for all. So if you shown any weakness or you were vulnerable on the playground, they just ripped you to shreds back then. And they just laughed every day, like, Shawn, you're big, but you're stupid, you're dumb, you're clumsy, you're lazy. And you know what? Those words stuck for years. And actually, those words became programs. Words are programs, by the way. And when you speak the words repeatedly, especially from a person who is an authoritative figure, it gets into your subconscious, and those programs begin to actually dictate and control your life. And so lazy, stupid, dumb, failure, loser, scaredy cat, just every day over and over again in school, I begin to create that reality. So repeating the 1st grade, as I mentioned, and then being documented with 4 to 5 learning disabilities, being kicked out of 2 schools for disciplinary issues, leaving high school with a 1.62 accumulative GPA, 9 on my ACT. Now you have to, let me just put this in the context, okay? Like when you're in, a senior or a junior in high school, people have expectations of you, your parents are getting excited and they want to kind of hang their little trophy on your shoulder. My son's going to USC, my son's going to Oregon. My son is, here's Shawn, graduating last in his class in academics, 1.62 accumulative GPA, barely starting in high school football. I wasn't even honorable mention all conference. And I was secretly voted most likely to fail. So that's my tape. And I went off to a junior college. The coach said I had potential. Well, I didn't know what that word really meant. And so, kind of know, but so I'm at this junior college, and the first year at this junior college, imagine this, I'm on the bench, not one play. I'm holding the blocking dummies for all the sophomores, and I'm getting water for them, and they're kind of making me making jokes, and not one play. And I wanted to quit. In fact, I called my mom. I said, Mom, I want to come home. And I'm expecting Mom to be the nurturer that she is and was. And oh, baby, come on home. You can do it. Nope. She said, get out there, sink or swim, baby. Let's go. And I had this conversation. Then I'll cut it. The conversation is that you're right, Shawn. You can never be successful. And I had a list of things or reasons why I wouldn't be successful. I don't have the grades. I don't have the network. I'm not a great athlete. I'm extremely flat-footed. Just list reason after reason after reason. But somehow I came up with this. I said, you'll never be successful. I said, but you can win. And the moment I said that, it was as if my entire being came to life. And I realized what happened later. But when I switched from a success trajectory to a winning trajectory. Mm-hmm. And once I made that switch, my life changed. I went from leaving high school with a 1.62 accumulative GPA to a double major graduate from Indiana University, barely starting in high school football to 7 years professional football, stuttering my entire life. In fact, if you listen, you would hear it every once in a while. But you know what? It doesn't matter because I'm not disabled. I'm uniquely enabled. And that's something that I would like to address. Please don't let me forget that. And it's just the list goes on and on. Why? Because I realized that I can win. And later I realized, which is so important, that I am a born winner. And in fact, everyone listening to me right now, you are a born winner. And that is your concept. That is who you are. And from there, you take it by storm.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of interesting perspectives. And I think a lot of people don't think about it. People just think about, well, I want to be successful. But yet, success, a lot of time we measure it by the money, by the dollar amount, by a lot of things, materialistic, So I'm interested to hear, what is the difference between success and winning?
Okay. So we are engineered or hijacked or hacked into the success model. We don't start off with the success model. We start off with the winning model. If you think of the games that you played when you were a kid, when you're out there playing, you're just running up and down, you're racing in the street, you're having a wonderful time. It's all about the win. Okay, which is why you mentioned football. Think about it. College football, the NCAA, is a multi-billion dollar industry. Okay, why? Because we go to watch people win. And winning is so strong. As much as I am an Indiana and Ohio State fan, and as much as some people could be a USC fan, if they lose every game for the next 5 years, you are not going to wear that jersey. You will not. Unless you're a Cleveland Brown fan, you are not going to wear that. Think about that for a second. Now, you're a fan. You're not going to throw it away, but you're going to bury it under a couple bookshelves or whatever, some books. But the moment they start winning, the moment they could win 2 or 3 games, you're putting that hat on. You're digging it out. It could be 1972 given to you by your grandfather. You're putting that daggone hat on and you're walking around. Why? Because we identify with winning. Think about this. Gambling. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. Why? It's predicated off of winning. Gaming, playing video games. Chase my son up. Son, it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Why are you still up? I'm trying to get to the dark level, Dad. Go to bed, son. Think about it. There's no success in that. It's winning. Okay. And then around the 3rd or 4th grade, about the time you learn that Santa Claus isn't real, right? Okay. There's some people out there who still thought Santa Claus is real. I hate to break it to you. Nah, not real. But anyway, 3rd or 4th grade, we're indoctrinated through school and through media of a different concept. And the different concept is called success. And now here's where the big switch happens, because winning is the fullest expression of who you are mentally, spiritually, emotionally, socially, and most importantly, in my opinion, legacy. Success is predicated off of 1 or 2 of those. Okay. And we now gear you, or we manipulate your entire being from pursuing winning, your fullest expression of who you are created to be, to success. Now you have to live in a certain subdivision when we get older. Now you have to, no, there's not a lot of money in being a teacher. You want to be a doctor. Why? Because doctors are successful. No, you don't really want to be a missionary. Okay. There's not a lot of money in being a missionary or a pastor. Oh my God. They're poor. You want to be X, Y, Z. And now think about this. The people who own the houses, just come to me. Give you that 30-year mortgage, 3%. The person who's driving that Maserati right now, why are you driving that car? That's a $250,000. Why are you doing that? And the entire foundation of Southern California, I used to live in Anaheim, is built on the success model. Everything. Oh, well, I am a waiter, but I got like 4 acting gigs lined up, and it's because it's the success game. Now, the success game teaches you to produce, and this is how you know what you're doing, if it's success or winning. Success teaches you to produce, be productive, be popular, be powerful. Winning teaches you to reproduce, to duplicate, to inspire, to motivate. And that's what we're created to do, because the winning model is congruent with nature. You see an apple, the apple's growing, the apple's beautiful, it falls from the tree, but in the apple is the seed. And the seed is the reproductive aspect of that apple. And there's so many people listening to me right now, whether in your car or you're at home and you're like, you know what, I have this, I have a great house, I have blah, but I'm not happy. You know why you're not happy? Because you've been taught to run towards success, and you're not winning because you're not reproducing. That's what we're created to do. And that's why the world is where it is right now. It's because everyone's pursuing success and not pursuing winning.
Oh, I'm having goosebumps right now. Shawn, I'm having goosebumps right now. I like, as you're describing this, I'm like thinking back to all the trendy. So a lot of listeners, my audience are coaches. And you're a coach, so
really, okay,
yeah, they're mostly coaches, and a lot of them are trying to be successful. And you see questions people ask all the time: how do I become a successful coach? How do I become successful? And no one ever think about, like, how do I win? And how am I showing up to win today? So
yes.
It's so interesting, and it's giving me a lot of goosebumps. So I think at this point, a lot of people who's striving to become successful coach, making that 7-figure or 8-figure coaching program.
Okay.
What are some of the things that you have for them?
Okay, stop right there. Okay. Think about, yeah. So that is the goal with a lot of speaking and coaching, is to get a certain level of financial gain. I'm a 7-figure coach. Hey, listen to me. Why? Because I'm a 7-figure coach. Like, yeah. And there's a particular hamburger chain that's the biggest in the world, but they might not be the best, because I promise you, In-N-Out will eat them every time. Okay. This is different. So let's take that off. Let's take that off the table. Let's take the measurement of money off the table, and let's now substitute that with something else: mission and influence. Why is money the determiner of the win or of the success? Think about that for a second. And so I tell you what, so I don't want to step on no toes, so I'll just use the speaking industry, because I'm a speaker first, coach second. I speak all over the place, and just early as last night, I'm like, you know what, I need to make a certain amount a month in speaking, because I need to bring home this much each month in my speaking. That's what it's about. That price point right there. You know what that does for me as a speaker? It now eliminates my influence, because there are thousands of opportunities that might not have $14,000 to bring me in. They might not have that price point. So now I'm going here, and I'm going to Fortune 500 companies, and there's people all around me that will never hear what's in me. Why? Because I've used a marker of money to determine one's success. If you look at some of the most amazing people in history, they didn't achieve a measure of success or winning till long after they were gone. You know, when you look at some of the famous painters, man, they were poor when they were living. You know, if you look at some, like, I'll give you another example. You look at people who may have mentored, you know, Zuckerberg. Who is that person? Now imagine, like, I can't mentor you, Mr. Zuckerberg, because, you know, I'm too busy doing this and doing that. Or I can't mentor you, Mr. Bill Gates. I can't mentor you, Michael Jordan. I can't mentor you, Shaq, because I'm busy. Tiger Woods. Who are these people? Serena and Venus's father. Was he successful? No, you got to get that out of your mind. What is your influence? What is in you, the seed that's in you, and be happy and be content with speaking in front of 500 people who don't have a dime to pay you. Yesterday, this is a true story. Yesterday, I was asked to do a program, a Zoom program, for a very, very, very low price point. And my first instinct was like, you know what? This is my worth. This is my worth. This is what I charge, and this is what you'll pay, you know, right? But then that, you know, I was convicted. I was convicted by God. You know, it's like, you know what? Let's get that out of the picture. And so 7:30 in the morning, I'm speaking, and like 13, 14 people showed up. But I promise you, I felt them pull every single word out of me. And I got off that Zoom and I was like, God, thank you. Thank you that I did not allow money to be the marker or the determination of what's a win or what's success and not success. Get the money out the picture. Look at your influence.
So beautifully said. And you're making a legacy. I think one of the words that you were using was legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We are running a race, but it's the type of race that you have to be cognizant of. The type of race that we're running is not a sprint. It's not even a 2-mile trek. It's a relay. And everyone listening to me right now, sooner or later, you have to hand the baton off. And you do not want to hand the baton off or have someone have to stop and pick the baton off the ground and lose momentum. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Run the race, so knowing that you're going to hand the baton off, plant seeds, knowing you'll never eat of its fruit, and win.
Shawn, I would love to take over your baton. I would love to take over that, yeah. My man. You have a virtual background of a stadium. Yeah. How did you move from the stadium to the stage?
Wow. You know what? I went from a certain level. I went from entertaining to inspiring. Okay. The stage, playing professional football, is it's nothing more than entertainment, plain and simple. And I stayed on the stage and I moved into another arena to inspire. So I'm going to unpack that just real quick. Is that when I was playing professional football, and by the way, every NFL team, they have an amazing PR department, and they encourage their players to get out into the community. That's what I love about the National Football League. You'll get out, you'll speak, and we'll have autograph sessions. So wherever you are, if you have a fundraiser, and if there's an NFL team within 50 to 75 miles, or NBA even, call them. They will get people out there to you. They love that. And they would always ask me to speak. Shawn, would you speak to a youth group or this? And I'm like, sure, wear my jersey, sign autographs, right? Yeah. And guess what? It just kept going once I retired, and I just followed the momentum. So you know what? I'm going to follow the momentum, and I'm going to keep going with this. And that is exactly what I've done. And I've been doing this for about 20 years, easy, just inspiring, motivating, encouraging, and investing in the world's greatest resource, which is people. Because when you invest in people, it has the potential of reaping generations of dividends. And I'm going to tell you something. Listen, I was in Tennessee, which I love Tennessee. It's an awesome city. And I'm in an elevator, And this young man keeps looking at me. And I'm like, why is this guy looking at me? You know? And when the elevator door opens and he says, "Are you Shawn Harper?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we're in the foyer or the lobby, and he reaches into his wallet. He pulls out my football card and said, "You spoke at my school years ago, and I keep this with me wherever I go. Thank you." That was at least 6 years later, 7 years later. That's a different city. That's what it's about right there.
Yeah. I can feel how that must have been.
Yeah.
Knowing that you impacted someone's life, you influenced someone's life, and now that person is going to carry that seed and pass it on to someone else.
Yeah. That's the relay. That right there is you cannot put a price tag on that. That's the relay. And that's what we have to be aware of, cognizant of, and own it. And oftentimes you don't own that with success, but in the win you do. Yeah. Like my son is at the University of Kentucky right now, right? I'm just like, God. And I'm gonna be honest, it was tough. Like there's no books on, I just dropped him off a month ago. There's no books on this whole separation and thing. I'm just like, man, I'm like, dude, but just to see him and to hear his language and stuff just kick in, like, man, that's my legacy right there. He's going to this and, he's going to this group and this group. And I thought he was going to be the hermit in his room. And he's out there talking to people. I'm like, daggone it, that's me. And he's like, wow, I just 20,000 students on the yard, they're all going to know you, son. Mm-hmm. Just bless them. Yeah.
Yeah. So Shawn, you're a busy man. You have a company, you run a company, you have a philanthropic good cause that's going on. What is on your plan right now? What do you plan to do for the rest of the year?
Wow. Well, honestly, I just want to position myself. Mm-hmm. We've gone through a lot as a country. We've gone through it. This daggone COVID it's serious. And for people to pretend as if it's not a big deal, to get out there every day and smile like life is great, man, you're lying, because your body feels it. Your heart feels it. Your emotions feel it. And so I've been taking time and I just been relaxing and recalibrating. Like I told my virtual assistant to cancel or not scheduling any more podcasts for the rest of the year. I'm done. Because I need to take this time. I need to meditate. I need to feel what I'm feeling. I'm feeling at times loneliness. I'm feeling at times anger. I just lost my sister 8 months ago. I lost my mom 3 months ago. I'm feeling, hurt. I'm feeling some bitterness, and I'm processing, and I'm allowing myself to process, but I'm also positioning, because the paradigm, which COVID is, and it was, and what it continues to be, is a paradigm shift. And most profit, if you go back in history, most profit, most wins, are the result of a paradigm. And so I'm like, how do I position myself to win, to have the maximum impact and influence on people off of this paradigm? So I'm going to take my basement, I'm going to turn it into a studio, and it's going to look, well, all those, you have a lot of books. I might not have all those books, but I'm going to have a studio, and I have a microphone, and I have a camera. And you know what? Let's just bless the world. Let's just be a blessing to the world. And that's my encouragement to all the coaches out there, to instead of, allowing the finances to be your aim, why don't you, on your spare time, think of another income stream, so you don't have to worry about that. So when you get that urge in your heart to say, you know what, I know you don't have the funding, but you know what, there's something about you. I'm going to bless you. I'm going to motivate you. I'm going to encourage you on the off hours. Why? Because I have a passive income stream, so I don't have to depend on or allow money to be my master. You can never master your master. So.
Wow, that's deep. You can never master your master.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. And I'm so sorry to hear about your loss. I'm sure that was very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. I know you have a busy schedule, and thank you so much for coming out here to bless me and also my audience. One last question before I wrap up and close up the show is, what do you believe the world needs right now?
Well, the world. I believe there's three things that I live by. These three words. It's live, give, and forgive. And I believe that the world needs to give grace, to give forgiveness, to give compassion, to give understanding. We have to give that. This is not business as usual. People are going through a lot. You know, imagine right now, all you coaches out there, imagine, and you're thinking you're a coach, right? You have all these techniques and strategies and coping and all that stuff, right? And you're still going through a lot of crap, right? You're still dealing with it. And you're still like, oh my God, I'm so depressed. But hey, I'm the coach and I'm not supposed to be, right? So imagine what you're going through with all the tools, techniques, and strategies you have, right? So imagine what people are going through that doesn't have any of that. They don't have that. So it's a lot out there. It's a lot out there. And I just want to encourage you to give, live, and forgive. Give of your talent. Give of your craft. Set a little bit of time each day or a little bit of time each week to go pro bono and be the blessing. Be the blessing that you want to see.
So beautiful. Thank you so much, Shawn. Live, give, forgive.
Yes.
Give everything that we can possibly. Yes. Just be out there, show up.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today. Love you. And next time when you come out here, hopefully I get to see you.
Yes.
I'd love to hear you on the stage.
Yes, that is a win. Thank you so much. Oh, listen, guys, go to my Instagram. It's Shawn Harper, Shawn Harper 154. I want you to go. I want your community, because if you're anything like this amazing host, whoa, she's amazing. She's powerful. She's stunning. Listen, go to my gram, Shawn Harper Speaker, SHAWN Speaker. Go to there, and I have videos, clips, and I'm really like just going to go raw and real, because that's what we need. We need authenticity to connect.
Yeah. Well, I would love in the future, this is what I'm manifesting. I would love in the future to be on the same stage as you are.
Easy. No, you will be on the same stage as me. Easy, very easy. Done deal.
Done. Check off. Yes. Okay, let's go and influence, impact, and leave a legacy.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Shawn.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So hopefully you got something very valuable from Shawn. He's an amazing motivational speaker. Again, go visit him. Check out his website, Shawn Harper Speaker, and also follow him on Instagram. I will drop all the links in the comment and also in the episode notes so that you can go follow him. And join me again next week for another episode of the Michelle Quay podcast. Or if you're in the group, come join me, watch me live with another speakers. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.